Hello, Marquisador here, and welcome to my Ascent to Madness guide for noobs like myself. So, I actually just did this dungeon for the first time yesterday, and so I figured this is the perfect time to make a guide for noobs since I'm still very much a noob myself. This is basically to help people that feel like they shouldn't join a group because they'd be a burden or something, because that's how I felt. And so I want to help people like that because I was like that and still am to an extent. And it's basically a simple basic guide so you'll know what to expect before you go in there if you're worried about it. So obviously you find a group in the looking for group tool. The biggest thing to note here is look for a group that specifies like all welcome or any levels. Even ones that just say like farm, you could technically join that one. The ones you want to avoid if this is your first time or you're still pretty new and not like comfortable with it yet is ones that specify like all level 80s, Zerk gear, speed farm, things like that. Those are people that are trying to do this as fast as possible, and you honestly you don't want that because for your like first few times or just in general, especially if you're not level 80 obviously. It's just those are people that are trying to do it as fast as possible that have a lot of experience. Avoid those. Other than that, you should be good. It does help to look for one that does welcome all levels. Those are harder to find because less people advertise that way, but if you wait long enough and you're patient, you will be able to find one. That is what I ended up doing, and it made it a lot less stressful. So you can actually go into the instance by yourself, and I would recommend that not to actually try to clear it, but to familiarize yourself with the jumping part of it, because that's arguably the hardest part of the entire dungeon in my opinion, is the jumping. You have to jump down 3 different times as the Mad King moves throughout the fight when you get him to certain health thresholds. So you'll start in this little room, and nothing starts until you interact with this gate. And if you're in a party, I would just let the party leader determine when that happens. But when you're by yourself, whenever you're ready, you just say I'm ready, and you want to run down this chain. So normally you'll wait up here because there's a couple of vent things that go on, and then you start fighting him. But if you're just practicing the jumping, you just go straight over here, and you can see there's a lot more down there. So the first part, you just go straight onto this platform. You don't have to jump. Same with this second little thing. But as soon as you kind of fall off that, let go of your forward key, or you might jump too far. And now the fastest way is to go to this rock and then straight down to, because this is the second area where the Mad King goes. But if you're still kind of skeptical, just jumping this way is safer and easier and will still get you there. And then you just want to follow this chain over onto this rock. Make sure you jump up to this point and then go down over here so you have no risk of falling. And then you'll fight him in this area. So then once you do that, he goes down one more time, and you simply want to go over and jump to this rock. And then this jump right here looks sketchy, and you do need to run and jump. As long as you're not in combat, you won't need swiftness. But if you are in combat, you probably do need swiftness. I have died trying to jump that without being in combat, or with being in combat. So, and then I like to wait for my health to regen because this jump looks sketchy too. Basically, this top part where my little pointer is aiming right now is where you need to land. That shiny part is the best spot to land, but if you just run and jump straight, you generally can make it. And even though I fell there, that's not like the end of things, because you can still make this jump. It's just a little more annoying. You just have to run and jump there. But that wasn't a perfect jump by any means, but that's just proof that there is room for mistakes. And then you fight him down here. So that's all it is. And then you can simply just waypoint back to the top, and you'll actually want to zone back out because he does this little emote mini game, which a random party member, if you have 5 people, will get selected to do that. And it's really simple. I'll show you how that works right now as soon as I load in. Basically, it's Mad King Says, the same event that happens every 2 hours in Lion's Arch, but it's for one character, and instead of typing the emotes, your abilities turn into them. Now the tricky part about it that I didn't realize initially is that the tooltip of them, oh, that's not even the Mad King's, this is the labyrinth, not even the right place. What am I doing? But anyway, the tricky part about the emotes is that the tooltip is not necessarily the right emote. So initially I would hover over them with my mouse and read them to try to figure it out. But in reality, you need to look at the icon because that is the correct one. I mean, if you do get picked for the emotes and you fail all 3, nothing happens. It doesn't actually matter. You just take some damage, and that's it. It's not going to kill you, so it's not a big deal. But if you're like wanting to familiarize yourself with that, then you can just go in here and do that. But you actually want to wait up here because a bunch of mobs will spawn, but as long as you stay up here, they won't attack you. So he likes to talk and do his little Mad King stuff until he starts the minigame. But yeah, I'll cut to that part to save some time. Okay, so now he's finishing up his dialogue, and you'll see my abilities will turn into a bunch of emotes. So you just want to listen or read what he says the emote you need to do is. And there's the doors that spawn. If you're not getting emotes, you'll just help clear all the trash with your group. It's super easy, not a big deal. Here we go. So he says cower, and I need to find the one that looks like cower. And see how they switch? It's trying to troll you. That one looks like cower, so you have to click it. It's hard to find it initially, but I'll fail the next one on purpose and show you. It's not a big deal if you fail it. Basically, the emotes flip like that and try to troll you. Just look for the one that looks like the type of emote, and that's the one you have to click. So salute is this one, but if you see how all the tooltips are different, it makes it, and they switch, it makes it confusing. But here's what happens if you don't do anything. It's not a big deal. And you see you have a lot of chances to do it, so generally you'll be alright. It takes like half your health, but it doesn't matter because, you know, you'll be with the party anyway. And now he wants me to dance, so we gotta find the dance one. I don't even know which one is dance, to be honest. I'm looking. I think it's this one. There. If you get it right, you'll know, because your bars will switch immediately. So yeah, while this is going on, your party members will be fighting this. You can also help fight that if you get the emote guessed really quick. Then you can join in the fight and then go back to that. But it's not a big deal if you fail them. And now he'll say he tires, and at this point you want your group to have cleared all this, or most of it, which generally they always will, and then you just fight him. That's really it, honestly. It's not a big deal. The only mechanics to watch out for with the actual boss fight are the scarecrows he puts on the ground, and what they can do is fear you, and the fear isn't a big deal. The only time it's scary is if you're near an edge with no like fence or border, because it can fear you off of the ledge and kill you from fall damage. That is pretty much the only way you're gonna die in this entire instance, is if you die to fall damage. Honestly, that's it. There's nothing else that's gonna kill you. And if you do get downed from like a bunch of ads being on you or the king himself, your party's just gonna res you right back up real quick, because you're not completely defeated at that point, which is good. Honestly, it's really not that bad. And the biggest thing I would stress or make a point of is take your time when you're jumping down the entire thing, because if you die to fall damage, that's way worse than if like you take a little longer to get down there and start fighting or something like that. So take your time when you're jumping and try to be as precise as possible on your jumps, because I mean that's really the best thing you can do, is practice the jumps until you feel fairly comfortable with it, and then find a group that is accepting all levels or any experience. And that way, if you do die, no one's gonna really care, because that's specified in the party. The party leader specified that, so there's no reason to feel bad if you die. And after a few tries, you're gonna be fine and understand how everything works, and then it's super fun. So yeah, I just wanted to share some of my knowledge with this, because I've been in the same boat as a lot of people who, you know, they're scared to try stuff like this because they don't want to be a burden. I'm the same way. I'm still a total noob. I still die sometimes on the jumps in Ascent, honestly, I do. And honestly, in a good party, they don't get mad at you. We laugh it off and, you know, just keep going. It's not a big deal. So have fun. Practice it as much as you think you need to, and at the end of the day, just have a good time. That's what matters. That is it for this video, and I will see you in the next one.